Well, hello, 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 hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Uh, I'm one of those things. As the title suggests, I'm still adjusting to the new time frame. So, yeah, I'm still uh, slowly getting used to the new schedule, and I have a feeling that I should be putting up my uh, uh, putting my alarm a little bit more. Oh, wait a second. I goofed on that one. So I'm, still getting used to the new schedule. Actually, planning ahead also. Um, uh, and excuse me. And slowly getting, not that side, you said. Uh, still didn't do what I was going to do and look for the chopper to make life a little bit easier. But since that did not happen, we're going to do it the way I have been doing, which has been a little bit on the annoying side. Uh, the weather here has been nuts. This is Florida weather in Vermont. It's just not right. Uh, so yeah, I guess we'll get onto it because uh, no one is here because I was really stupid and forgot to do this ahead of time. Set it up as a schedule. So that's a thing. Hello there, Anfield. Thank you for coming in. It does say that there's two people here. Uh, Excuse me. Trying to get used to this new schedule. Working second shift. I'm usually not up this early. Okay. I'm not sure if StreamYard had changed that or not, but I put timestamps on everything, and the timestamps are showing up on both chats, the one for YouTube and the one for StreamYard. So that's sort of kind of good to know. Of course, StreamYard is slightly delayed. Hence the reason why I got YouTube on also, because I have the bandwidth to do so. All right, let me switch over cameras. So we got that. Let me switch positions. Also, I need to grab my phone, so I'll be right back with that. And, well, yeah, I was going to say talk amongst yourselves, but if it's only just you, it's sort of pointless. All right. So, ooh, okay. Nothing wrong with having a project while listening. Let's put that over there so you can see what's going on. Now, is this the same signal box that you were doing last week? I remember you were doing, or somebody was doing something with Metcalf. Somebody was mentioning Metcalf. What's the tool to my left? I'm assuming that you're talking about this tool that I have, which not many people have. And hello, Steel Mill. This particular machine is, if I can turn this around without destroying anything. This is, let's see if I can point this right. The Ultimation Sander. It's a Canadian product. It's a little bit it's definitely overkill for a lot of applications, but the way I look at it is if you're doing something that requires a lot of sanding, I would go with something along this lines. But if you're doing, if you excuse me, if you're not doing that much sanding or not that much precise sanding, this is overkill. But if you're building a trestle, something that's not pre-made like this, this is a Bar Mills Lowboy trestle, which is mostly laser cut. But if you're doing a hunter line trestle or bridge like this is, the same build, do a lot of work on it, scratch building and things for it, and button. Okay, that's what I thought, because it sounded when you said when you typed in Metcalf, that sounded awful familiar. Now the interesting thing is that the same person who makes this, which This actually has like 2 ball bearings in it, so that's why when you can go like that, it just spins for a while. That's a pretty neat sander. I also have this part here. Oh, I forgot what it's. I think it's called the repeater. This winds up this replaces the standard stop, and this actually is set up where you can actually turn around and repeat the same sides if you need to. Sort of like with the making ties. I mean, you can actually make them so they're all the same length. Now, ties are not as, they don't need to be as precise as, say, trestle or building parts or anything like that. So you can get away with that. Actually, that's one of their newest products, if I remember correctly, is a chopper or something like a chopper, where they have it so it's you might call it over engineered, but if you're doing a lot of chopping, and you need to chop things that are sort of like a consistent size, it makes a very good sense. If you're doing a lot, I would have to say, if you're doing a lot of scratch building, it's probably the chopper and the sander is probably the way to go. There have been times I'm actually, I already have the Northwest Shortline number 3 chopper, which I have temporarily misplaced. Yeah, I got the chopper 3, which is my thought process is like, well, it's like, set up so it can be a production line if need be, but never really got that far with it. But I would have to say a lot of it depends on what you're doing and what your situation is. This one, right now having even probably the cheapest style chopper would be nice at this point, especially when you're cutting your own ties. And one of the things that's nice about this particular sander is that it also doesn't require specialized sanding discs. You can go to a hardware store and get, I believe they're 5-inch sanding discs, and away you go. And it has not only do you have this adjustable part there with the different angles, you also got this over here, which is like a built-in 90-degree angle all the time. But I would have to say I like it. I like the sander a lot. The only thing now it's set up to be able to do it. You can actually turn around and mount this directly to a table, which I would say is probably the smarter thing to do. But I have no way. I don't have a place to permanently mount this. Otherwise, I would. A lot of the other sanders that are out there, you can get away with not without mounting. I do believe the gentleman that makes these, when he has YouTube videos, I think if you put Ultimation in the search bar, you'll be able to find it. And he shows it not being bolted down. So it is sort of designed to be used that way. I could only assume his chopper does sort of the same thing. Using a porter cable benchtop sander. That's even more overkill than this, in my opinion. A lot of the jobs that we're doing, we don't really need power, but I'm not sure if this is a legal hack. But if you have a drill that has a 1/4-inch hex bit on it, you put it on there, and you have now a power sander. It's slightly awkward, but it's there. Actually, now 1 second. Take for instance this this is I'm trying to think what it's called now. It uses, instead of using batteries, this uses a supercapacitor. So it doesn't have that much of a charge, but the thing is, you throw it back in the charger and it's charged back up full again within less than 2 minutes. Now, where did... I didn't think I did that, but thing is, it uses I think it's a 1/4 inch, but probably should go that away. But yeah, this doesn't really have a speed control on it, so but that's the way how you can turn around and make it power. Ah, gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting tools that that could almost be an expensive hobby in itself. All the tools that are available. One of the couple of channels that I watch, and it seems that it's a channel that makes tools for itself. It's like, oh, we're building another tool for the shop. And then you turn around and don't see they build the tool and then they never see it again. But last week I was not able to join the chat for Back on Track, mainly because of I had some facility. Was invited to a place that I have or people I haven't been around with for a while, and we got separated. And we found out exactly how long I haven't really talked to these people, because all the phone numbers I have for them are landlines. It's like I have no one's cell phone number. It's like, well, should probably change it. So. And basically, it was an outing at Saratoga Springs, at the racetrack. Which the funny thing is, I turned around and I said I came from Vermont, and everyone there, or a good portion of the people there from New York City, they're like, Vermont, wow, that's so far away. It's like it's all it's like, you realize you're far enough north that it's not that far, it's only an hour away. But yeah, it's funny when you get people from downstate going up to upstate, and then they get confused on things. There was one time, this was back in 03 or 04. I was with a car group at the time, and they had a group that came from Poughkeepsie, and we're on the train ride from North Creek. And the funny thing is, they turn around and the railroad tracks go up against a very large creek, and it was low enough that if you wanted to, you could probably ford the river jumping across the rocks. Ooh, okay. The depth gauge. And the funny thing about it is that they turned around. It's like, and one of them turned around and asked us, "What's the name of this small little creek?" And we sort of laughed. And it's like, it's called the Hudson. It's like, that's how far up they were. Is that the Hudson River was to a point where you couldn't. It was far from ocean going. So I've heard. I'm not that much of a fisherman. One of the interesting companies that are near me is Orbis, which I guess is very big into fly fishing. I actually interviewed for a job there once, and well, did not get it. So. It's a very interesting company that they're they're still hand making fishing poles. But yeah, I forgot the name of the railroad at this point, because unfortunately it's a small tourist railroad, and when tourism goes down, they have a tendency to go bankrupt. They're trying to bring back industry there, but it's just not happening. Um, there is a titanium mine that was opened during World War II. Eventually, it wound up closing, but I think there's a company that's trying to take all the tailings, and since we get better technology, take the tailings and process the tailings for titanium ore. And when they first reopened the line, there was a lot of protests saying that, oh my God, it's like, diesel locomotives use, pollute all this, that, and etc. And it's like, like someone turned around, people are, that like railroads are like going like, you realize that, what would you rather have? 200, yeah. Would you have, what would you rather have, one very polluting locomotive or 200 less polluting tractor trailer trucks going through your town? And of course, a lot of them are like, unfortunately, there's people out there that want to argue because that's their entertainment. I had a roommate that would turn around and take up the plays devil's advocate just so we can have an argument or a discussion. Wouldn't say paid to, my roommate wasn't paid to protest because, well, he just liked to have an argument. And I myself, I don't mind a decent debate. But if it's an argument that sort of winds up being circular and fixated on a single thing, I'm just like, this, you're not willing, they're not willing at all to listen to my half of the conversation. It's like they're just repeating what they're trying to push on me, and it's like, you're not listening. Sort of that, well, the degree, we'll agree on disagreeing. And the thing is, if you have somebody who gets entertained by disagreeing, will do their best to sort of backtrack and to keep the argument going. And that sort of shuts them down because it's like, I'm like, you can see in their faces like, I want to argue, I want to get pissed off at you. It's like, see, unfortunately, there was one time that was the owner of a company that he got pissed off at something very, very minor. No he perceived that damage was done to one of the computers. And I remember looking at him like going like, huh? And then I'm like, as I didn't say this to him directly, but I was like, I'm here to work, not to be your, not to be your personal entertainment. It was a job that it was actually my last job that I had in New York. Uh, but unfortunately, when it comes to politics, this is my opinion that there's a major issue that people want solved, and they run on that, and then they don't solve it because they need it to get reelected. It's like, well, we're trying really hard to get it corrected and all that, but we're having opposition, this, that, etc. But if you elect me, it's like they haven't done anything in the past 5 elections and all that, but we'll do it this time. And it's like, no, you won't. You haven't before, and you won't again. Then you got the what I call the fake fake issues. A lot of times, when some of the issues that have to deal with children have nothing to do with children. Why, thank you. It's the background music is an option from StreamYard. You can pick different. You can pick up different songs, and it just plays on loop in the background. It seems that a lot of the some of the more successful channels has music of some sort and all that. So I've added that, and for a while now. And then a lot of times that you'll be copyrighted and all that, and it's like, I'm like, well, this is a StreamYard thing, and that to me is annoying. It's one of those things of going like, here you get your um, something that's available, and then someone turns around and says no. Uh, like, especially if they're not directly making uh, money off of it. Um, from my understanding, some of the what was it now? I don't usually watch like music reviews and all that, but I guess there's a bunch of famous ones that they don't make money on the clip itself, but they play something like a 5-second clip, and then all of a sudden it's like it gets copyrighted for a song that's a very an indie song that was like didn't make it up to charts and all that, and etc. And then it still gets copyright. And I mean, he's got like a merch store and all that, and I would have to say there are times that personally, my channel's not big enough to be affected at this point, but I guess one of the things that YouTube is doing is now trying to do age verification, where you have to give out your ID, this, that, and etc. And I'm like, might have to, and this is something that they're doing. It's, I guess, not required by law. It's not like the when they started doing the kids thing, where it's like it's the channel members to, or not the channel owner to police itself. Now I keep my content. I think I keep my content relatively kid friendly, but I also know that what I'm doing would bore a kid to tears. So it's not that fascinating to him, especially with the very low attention span. It's like, this is definitely not a TikTok channel or a short channel. I guess one of the funny things at work is that I don't listen to music when I'm working at work, because I find it distracting. And everybody else is like, why are you not listening to music? You gotta listen to music. It's like, no. Drop the matter box. I mean, there's enough noise in my head. I don't need to add extra. Especially since my coworkers have a tendency to also like to listen to what I want to call is angry music. I mean, it's I want to say very angst-ridden. In some cases, in my opinion, very sometimes very anti-establishment and anti-people. And the thing is that these people's personality is very anti-people, and everything's everything sucks, and it's like I mean every single there's one person that's like every single day it seems that they're not happy unless they're complaining about something not going right. Apparently last night I did something the day before. I didn't package something correctly, and it's like, packed it all wrong, had to do this, and it's, had to redo everything. And then when sort of asked, well, how was it packaged wrong? They said, well, it was backwards. It's like you're putting something in a bag. How can it be backwards? But sometimes they I mean, it could be as simple as because when I was told about it from my supervisor, and it says, how? I mean, there was a mistake I did make because I had forgotten to put there's supposed to be foam on the bottom, and I forgot to put down. But I guess she didn't really give a clear answer on how I did it. Because I asked, it's like, how? It's like, it said upside down. So my supervisor assumed that I put there's a handle on the part. So you must have put it upside down. It's like, no, I put it right side up because that's it can easily break. So the only thing I can think of is that say if you're supposed to put the part in the box this way, and I put it this way, so it's the opposite direction. But the thing is, it's so yeah, instead of having all the parts this way, I had all the parts this way, which it's in a box. So if you flip the box the other direction, everything's going to be the same direction. So it's one of those things that sometimes I just give up of going like, yeah, whatever. But I have a complete all right. Well, thank you very much, Steel Mill, for coming in. And yeah, I'm still, as I said, I'm still getting used to this new schedule. I might have to turn around and I'm not sure why well, I mean, it's not just YouTube, but it seems that all the social media has it set up where it's like, oh, you'll get either the top messages or all the messages, and it's always it always defaults to top messages, which I don't know how they figure out how a top message is a top message. Well, there's a lot of things today, and it's probably not a today issue. because it seems to be done for the longest time. Seems every time they try to do a perfect utopia, it's a utopia for very few people. I mean, hearing stories from about Pullman, Indiana. Making a perfect place for all the Pullman workers, and it was this utopian style of place, and it's one of those things. I mean, it looked good on paper. It probably looked, and it looked very good at the beginning, but they wound up putting so many restrictions on it is that it wound up falling apart. Gotcha, Anfield. Yeah, it's very hard to work with your hands and type. One advantage of being one actually doing the content is that you can actually turn around and talk and not have to worry about using your hands to type. You're scratch building as well. All right. I know there's I know people that are saddened by the fact that the younger generation is not picking up the skills that that they used to have. And a lot of them don't realize that the reason why the skills are that have disappeared is because there's no longer the technology has moved on, basically. There was recently the YouTube channel, The History Guy, had a whole thing about the history of the signal SOS, figuring out which, basically which was recorded the first ship to use SOS, which a lot of people assume it was on the Titanic. But what the Titanic was using at first was, I believe, CDQ. And I guess SOS, from my understanding, actually was because different countries were using different codes, and SOS was a idea that came from Germany. The Germans sort of came up together and decided to use SOS. I want to say CDQ was France. I could be wrong. But I don't think it was England. Probably don't need to. I mean, it's only that much. It's probably a little bit too much. Almost to get the sand out once. But it's a soft wood. See, the sander takes away really quickly. Okay, it looks like we got that done, at least for the bridge. The trestle, actually. Yeah, that's too short. Now for the fun part. Put that over there. Trying to remember what this is for. For some reason, I'm thinking that this is possibly a spacer I was planning for changing the gauge of the locomotive. That didn't work out. So I'm trying to figure out the spacing for that's too narrow. And this is going to be too big. So it's smaller than 8 or 8 inches. What's this one? It's also too thin. Alright. What about this? Is this the right? Ooh, that looks like this might be the right setup. So let's move this way so we can get a better look at that. Now, okay. Start putting the ties on here. Probably one thing that's going to be the most challenging here is I didn't pre-stain any. So not sure how that's going to work out. It's probably too much for what I need, but it is there. Put that there. There's the toothpick that I accidentally put underneath it. Well, looks like I'm only getting only a couple of ties in. Make sure that's nice and lined up. And go on to the next one. Now, so, yep, gonna stop right here and change cameras. Mm. All right, everything bounced around. Back to the webcam, and here we are. Well, I would have to say thanks for everyone who has been here. Um, Anfield, Steel Mill, um, especially since it seems that you were the only two that participated in the chat, and I thank you for that. Oh, excuse me. But I'm not sure if I'm still tired, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be back on track. I might pop there, I might not. Don't know. But thanks to everyone who has, watched it all the way to the end. It's very much appreciated. And wow, yeah, I'm tired. I can't think of anything witty. So in that case, then I'll end it here. I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness, and spread it around. Bye.